Alright, so late as usual. Missed the anniversary of Justice League, but I thought I'd talk about it now. And yeah, it's been a whole year since Justice League came out, and we still haven't got the Snyder Cut. A thing people have been demanding since the second week, or maybe the first week, that Justice League came out, right? Something everybody's been asking for. Doesn't look like there's going to be an announcement anytime soon. Might just take a few years for this thing to happen. You know what it might end up happening is that they might wait for this whole DC Universe thing to fizzle out, and then they're going to release a director's cut of Justice League to spike up sales and stuff like that, which is totally what a business would do, right? They would wait for something to start dying, and then they would send out something to spike up sales, like a director's cut of a movie, right? But looking back on when Justice League came out, I think I saw it on a Saturday. I didn't see it day one. I saw it that weekend, the first weekend. And for those of you who have been a part of this channel since Justice League came out, right? You know that I was trying so hard to like the film when it first came out. Like, I was desperately trying to like the film. I even thought it was good when I first saw it. I thought, alright, this is a fun little movie. Alright, this is a solid movie. It's not as good as Batman vs. Superman, but I guess not many films could be that good. And then about, a week or 2 weeks later, after rewatching the film a couple more times, it started to, sink in that, yeah, this movie's a pile of shit, and it's been butchered to hell. And you can clearly tell what has been butchered. You can clearly tell what's the Whedon scenes and what's the Zack Snyder scenes. And then, you start looking out and wondering, is anybody else noticing this? And yeah, of course, everybody was noticing this. Film Junkie was probably one of the first people I saw to say that the movie wasn't that good. And I'm pretty sure Film Gob said it wasn't that good when it first came out too. But he was one of the first people to say, yeah, this was not a good movie. They butchered the hell out of the movie. They de-Snydered the film. And if Film Junkie didn't come out and say that, the first day, it probably would have took longer for people like me to accept that the movie wasn't that good. Accept that, they really butchered this thing. Because Warner Brothers had us going for a whole year leading up to Justice League, saying that it was still Zack Snyder's film. Joss Whedon was just touching it up. He was just finishing the film. And, they were lying to us for a full year. And it had a lot of people fooled going into that opening weekend. And, about, a week later, when we all realized that, yeah, they butchered the hell out of this, it was already too late. The movie's already out. They have no plans to do a director's cut. Zack Snyder wasn't there at the premiere, so it's clear Zack Snyder is trying to distance himself a little bit from the film that was in theaters. But it didn't take long for, actors like Ciarán Hinds to come out and say, oh yeah, I hope the director's cut comes out because it's better than what was in theaters, right? That happened a couple weeks after the movie came out? And then the Kevin Smith podcast, which was 3 weeks after the movie came out, where you had that lady talking about how Darkseid was in the film and all these deleted scenes and stuff, confirming all these deleted scenes. And from that point on, it's just been nothing but constant deleted scenes being leaked, constant visual effects shots being leaked, more actors coming out and saying that, they want a director's cut for the movie because it is better. Petition that gets over 100,000 signatures, constant retweeting, hashtagging, release the Snyder Cut for a full year. All the Vero Zack Snyder pics, of Justice League from the past year. And it really doesn't feel like we're any closer to getting a Snyder Cut. All this stuff comes out. We could assemble our own movie based on all the deleted shit that's been leaked, and we're still no closer to a Snyder Cut. Of course, you got fan cuts like the Black Suit Edition, which, I'm not sure if it's come out yet. I'm not sure when that guy's releasing that, but that's something I definitely want to see because it looks unique and different than what we got in theaters, right? Still, constant fan edits and stuff, and we're no closer to getting a Snyder Cut. It feels, people have been calling Warner Brothers like crazy. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. They keep putting people on voicemail and stuff, so obviously they're deleting these voicemails. I would be shocked if anybody at Warner Brothers gives a fuck about releasing the Snyder Cut right now. Because, we're still going with this DC universe. We have Aquaman coming out in a few weeks here. I mean, we're still chugging along here. So it would seem that, they don't want to go back to the mess of Justice League, right? The butchered film. They don't want to even talk about that film anymore. They want to move on because we know Aquaman's going to be good. It looks really good from the trailers. But the main concern I think we all have, the fans of Man of Steel and BVS, is that these films, these DC films, aren't going to be serious anymore. It's not going to be, grounded or realistic. It's not going to have actual emotions. It's just going to be fun popcorn films from now on. Because that's clearly what people want, right? I mean, look how much money every Marvel film makes. It's clearly what people want. They don't want emotion in their films. They just want fun. They want an escapist film where they don't have to think. And Warner Brothers sees that and they're like, all right, we'll do that for our films. Because when they try to make films with subtext and meaning, like BVS, that actually, dissects the characters and puts up a mirror to the real world. People, shred it apart. They don't like it, So, I mean, it only shows what people want. It only shows what they want. And, it sucks. It really does. Aquaman, I hope is really good. I hope it really surprises me. I hope it's, somewhat serious. I hope it's an entertaining movie. It's just, that the only goal of these DC movies from now on is just to be fun popcorn films. And it's so annoying. We had it. We were so close to having real comic book films for adults. We were so close. BVS, it was right there. It was a rated R film. We were so close. But it looks like that's just going to be like a piece of time that we're never going to get again. Like Watchmen, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. We're not going to get those films anymore. And I know it's like a really, tough thing to think about. But it's probably going to be a decade before we get actual serious adult films like that again. And Justice League was really that point in time where it was official, when the movie came out, it was real, they gave up on making real adult superhero films that appeal to people that have been reading comics for a decade, like if you've been reading comics for, 10, 20 years, you're fucking sick of watching superheroes save the planet. You're sick of it. It's the most annoying superhero trope there is, and that's all we're gonna get from now on. It's fucking... Oh, it's painful. Because, I mean, if you read a shit ton of comics, then you understand that comics can be more. They can be really enriching stories that have deep meaning, and they're not for fucking kids. The best comic books that have ever been made are not for children. They're not for kids. It's not to have a fun time, Like, if you have a fun time reading The Dark Knight Returns, you might be, a little messed up in the head, because it's a dark story. It's about the end of life and stuff like that. All-Star Superman is not a fun, book. Superman fucking dies, it's not like... You're not supposed to be, having a fun old time the whole fucking time you're reading it. Watchmen, the graphic novel, yeah, there's a couple jokes in the whole book. A couple, But it's meant to be taken as serious literature that you can dissect and find deeper meaning in. And we almost had it with superhero films. We almost had it with these DC films. And people ruined it. These fucking people that love these Marvel films so much that they won't see any other film except for a Marvel film. I mean, look at the box office for any other film. I think Widows just came out, and apparently it's a good film. I don't know. I'm not going to see it in theaters. Just like most people. I think it only made 12 million? Compared to what a Marvel film does its opening weekend. It's fucking pathetic. It's sad that this is what it is now. I mean, it's just telling Hollywood studios that, yeah, the only thing you should make is stupid popcorn superhero films that don't mean anything. Those are the only films you should make. Because those are the only films that are going to make you money. And that's what DC's doing now. And hopefully, I'm just praying Aquaman was finished before, they decided to completely fuck up their universe, right? There wasn't major reshoots on Aquaman that we know of. Like, according to everything we know, there was probably only like a 2-week period where they were reshooting and adding another character in. Other than that, everything that was conceived with Aquaman happened during BVS. The production of Aquaman happened at the same time that Justice League happened. And it really looks like Aquaman has the potential, with the story they're telling, to actually be a rich film, like a very deep film that has to do with like abandonment and stuff like that. Like there's some heavy themes that Aquaman could tackle. And, I just hope they try at least a little bit. Shazam doesn't look like it's going to be a very thought-provoking film. Wonder Woman 84 doesn't look like it's going to be a very, deep, insightful film. But Aquaman, I'm getting a feeling it can be that. But, we'll see. But as for Justice League, I just remember having that realization 2 weeks after Justice League came out that, yeah, this is like the end of great superhero films. We're not going to have films that challenge you intellectually anymore. It's not going to happen anymore. And, that's really tough to think about. It's really tough to accept, but that's just what it is now. I'm going to watch Aquaman. I'm going to watch these DC films because I genuinely love DC Comics. I read a lot of DC Comics. I've watched every animated DC thing there's ever been. I've seen every single DC movie there's ever been. I really love these characters, but there's only so much, bullshit, I could take before, I stop watching these films entirely. So hopefully Aquaman's going to be that thing that reignites my passion for these movies, right? Something that really gets me invested in this universe, because Justice League was such a heartbreaking experience. It was such a profoundly painful experience. That it's only up from here. It can only get better, or it could, get way worse, and that's the end of the universe entirely. That's the end of all these movies. But, that's probably the only way we're going to get the Snyder Cut, right? Is if, Aquaman fails, and Shazam fails, and Wonder Woman fails. That's the only way you're going to get the Snyder Cut, right? At least sooner, I mean, I assume this director's cut will come out eventually, but it certainly is not going to come out this year or next year, especially with, all these DC movies coming out. They're going to, wait. It's going to be a while. I mean, it's just going to be a while before they even consider putting it out, especially with this universe that's still going. All these DC movies are still going. But, yeah, that's it for now. That's what I could remember feeling when Justice League came out last year, and those are the thoughts that were always going through my head. But yeah, that's it for now. Comment below, let me know how much Justice League hurt your soul, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.